I'm Amanda.
And I'm Mike. And
this is Saturday Morning Cereal.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen of the jury. This is Saturday Morning Cereal podcast with my consul Amanda here. We will be presenting an argument today in favor of our plaintiff, She-Hulk, who has been the subject of harassment and false claims against her show. We will bring our first witness to the stand today, Ashley, also known as Pocket Full of Ash, a wonderful cosplayer, model, and artist and Etsy store owner. Ashley, say hello.
Hello, everyone.
Great to have you here, Ashley.
Yeah,
It's
we're
good
so
to be
happy
here.
to have you. Guys, if you don't know too, Ashley, yes, she is a great cosplayer. She made me a completely amazing Julie cosplay from Legend of Korra. So again, Ashley, thank you for that.
And
Of
Ashley,
course.
you've cosplayed She-Hulk before, yes?
Yes.
All right. So tell us a little bit about your background with She-Hulk. So are you a comic book reader? Do you watch her on an animated TV show? Do you just cosplay her? Tell us about that.
I wouldn't really say that I have like a background with her. I just like visually she just captivated me when like I came across her like online and kind of like did some digging about like who She-Hulk is and like her history in the comics, and I thought like her history in the comics is like very interesting and kind of groundbreaking, honestly. So it was just kind of from there. So I haven't gotten a chance yet to read her comics, but after seeing the Disney Plus show, I really do want to like hunt down some of the comics from like the early 2000s and like give those a shot and like actually take in a little bit more of Jennifer Walters.
Yeah, she's a great like fourth wall breaker, and she has a lot of things to say about a lot of uh modern day topics. Like just on her show right now, she's been discussing internet trolls and just women in the view of public opinion. So we've got two women here. How relatable is Jennifer Walters to you? Even though she's this green lawyer, is she relatable to you at all?
I'll take this one first. Yeah, going into the show, I really wasn't excited for it, to be honest. I wasn't familiar with She-Hulk at all, but I loved the show. I know it's not everyone's cup of tea at the moment, but I loved her like breaking the fourth wall and like speaking to the audience and what we were thinking. That was great because like she just echoed my thoughts in all the scenes, especially the last two episodes, which were my favorite for obvious reasons. But yeah, I thought she was great. I thought she was a great female to add to the MCU. And her story is great. I can't wait to see more of her.
Yeah, I mean, like 2 years ago when they announced that they were gonna do a She-Hulk TV show, and it was just like, you know, just the image of the title card, I was very excited. And personally, I feel like the show didn't disappoint. I find Jennifer Walters to be really relatable, and I find like her character and like her journey for the show just like very grounded, and like it handles a lot of like topics that I feel like a lot of women can like relate to like through like their experiences.
So Jennifer Walters wasn't alone on this show. She had a great supporting cast of characters, but she also had a lot of bigger cameos from the MCU, including Wong and our friend Daredevil. Ashley, were you excited to see these characters, or do you think they distracted from the She-Hulk narrative?
I mean, I feel like that's kind of like what's great about where the MCU is like right now, where like we have so many established characters already brought into this universe and even like, more to come. So I feel like it's like perfectly fine to have like cameos of like other characters, and even the show kind of like pokes fun of like how all these characters keep on popping up into her show, but like it still focuses on like Jennifer. I don't really feel like these elements are like distracting from like the main character and her journey. And I feel like it was just like they had a lot of fun. Like they had a lot of fun with Wong, and I feel like they had their fun with Daredevil. I really enjoyed his episode, and like spoilers, him showing up in the finale. So I don't know. I feel like it helped give the show more personality and like flavor instead of like taking away from like Jennifer.
I agree. And I like how, again, she, especially when Benedict Wong showed up and she's just like, I know you guys are so excited to see Wong, he's coming. Just, kind of sympathizing with the audience with, again, with our thoughts, like, come on, when is Wong going to be on? But then she's like, I know you guys are ready to see him, but this is my story. So I really like that. And again, I love the Daredevil episodes because I just love Daredevil. Yeah, I didn't think it was too distracting because their characters worked in the story with her. Yeah, I just thought they were great additions, and especially with Daredevil coming from the hype of Spider-Man, we got like a taste of him in the MCU now. And he was different in the show compared to his like dark brooding characterization in the Netflix series. So just for him to just come and let loose, and it's all because of Jennifer. He meets Jennifer and he looks happy, and I'm just like, yes, this works.
Can I also add that I just love their chemistry? Like, I think adding that to the show just sent me over the moon. Like, just the playful banter between them and like the flirting, and it was a good time.
Yeah,
The Toph Bei Fong level blind jokes, awesome.
yeah,
Correct.
So
yeah. I ship them.
So I really like Jennifer and Matt, and I like it because the Daredevil Netflix show was about Matt coming to grips with basically his essential love of violence, is that he loves to beat the snot out of criminals. He loves having that sense of like, thrill and rush, adrenaline rush. And he's always fighting with that darker side of him that will go and potentially really hurt someone, maim someone, kill someone. He has to fight that every day he puts on that suit. And what is great about Jennifer is that Jennifer has that same type of problem. She has this other personality who can come out without her control and can kind of hurt people. So I really like two parallels between them, and the fact that they're both lawyers. Like, he was a perfect addition to the show.
Yeah,
I agree.
totally agree on that. And I can't wait to see. I hope Jennifer pops up in the new Daredevil series. But it's like Mike and I say, not as She-Hulk. We just want to see her as Jen.
Just Jen.
Yeah, just Jen is enough sometimes.
Yeah, she's great. I mean, we all love She-Hulk, but like, Jen just vibes with me personally. So I want to see more of her.
So, do you think the 9-episode season at half an hour, do you think it was enough to cover everything that they did, or would you have preferred a movie, or would you have preferred like 45-minute long episodes to an hour? Like, how do you feel about this episodic format, Ashley?
Well, I feel like it fits best as a show because I feel like what's nice about like the MCU shows is that we're able to like take our time and like get to know like these new characters and like who they are, how they work, and like their personalities. So I feel like a TV show works best for like what do you want to say?
Kind of like a slow burn, right?
Yeah, but like given how it's more like focusing on just like the day in the life of Jennifer versus like just jumping right into it. Like she gets like her powers and there's a big bad and she has to like go do something about it and then big fight at the end and like that's it. Like very formulaic, predictable MCU formula where like we could take our time and just like hang out and like she has like her personal life with like work and her family and like dating and like I feel like just giving each of those like moments that like we all kind of deal with in our lives, like just like an episode dedicated to that. I feel like that's just like kind of works best because like essentially she doesn't want to be a hero. She's focused on her career and she wants to like do the best that she can with her career and like
Manage her time as She-Hulk as well. Her new role.
yeah, like in the beginning she didn't want anything to do with it, but like over time she's learning to balance like being Jen and also She-Hulk and like embracing it, but
Yeah.
also like still appreciating herself as Jen, because I feel like She-Hulk was kind of like taking so much of the spotlight that like Jen wasn't getting any of the spotlight in her life. It was all about She-Hulk.
Yeah,
So
especially the episodes with like her dating, how they're like that one guy was like, "Oh, I just like She-Hulk, not you." And then the wedding episode, I really enjoyed the wedding episode. Where they were like, don't cause a scene and all that, but they were just treating her completely different. And and that's just something that it contributes to actual life. Like something major happens to you, good or bad, or like, or something you don't want to talk about, but people give you like the sympathetic stares and all that, and you're just like, don't, just treat me like normal. And like I figured that this character is going to resonate a lot with just everyday issues we run into, like mentally and stuff too. I mean, she's a great character, and it was a great nod to those feelings.
yeah, and just like Jen embracing like herself as Jen and She-Hulk and like giving her time like with that like kind of mental journey.
Yeah.
So with a lot of these MCU projects, fans are dying to know like what the plot of the movie is. I know walking into Avengers Endgame, I didn't have a clue about what was going to happen. And a lot of the times what the movie is about will surprise us. But from a plot perspective, like She-Hulk doesn't have that long overarching narrative as strong as other properties does. And when it does, she rewrites it at her own whim. So how do you feel about it just being more like it's a hangout show? It's just fun. Like, do you want to see like She-Hulk in these bigger battles, or do you want to just see her on this TV show? Like, do you want to see her in a movie?
I mean, I'm totally down for just more She-Hulk and more Jen. Like, stick her in like any movie or show, and like I'm here for it because like she's just so likable.
Mhm.
But like, I feel like she's perfectly fine not getting involved in like the super big epic battles. Like, I feel like her being kind of like a street level like hero is like perfectly fine. Because she'll help people like with her career like with the law, and then when the law fails, then She-Hulk can always step in.
Mhm. She can protect herself too. I like how that one episode where the guys were trying to pick on her, and she was just like, "Nope, you picked on the wrong person." When the She-Hulk and beat him up.
You're talking about like the demolition team with like all the
The
glowy,
wrecking crew.
the wrecking crew,
Yeah.
yes. She-Hulk was very much in the public eye as She-Hulk and as Jennifer Walters. She had a lot of things about her life leaked onto the internet. She had a lot of comments about from intelligentsia about like her appearance and her getting the powers, not having earned them. Like, how much truth is there to that in those comments? Like, what do women face on the internet every day that is relatable in She-Hulk's shoes?
I think women, we get shamed a lot. I know, like, I get really hesitant posting on social media, especially like my own face, because I'm always like, there's always gonna be that one person that's like, "Ew, you're ugly," and it's just something that we gotta. I mean, I guess that can happen to anybody, but like, especially with women with our bodies, and just like the shame, the blame that we always get, like, especially when her what tape was leaked, and it was her fault, and she was shamed, and she reacted the way anyone would react.
Yeah, like when she punched that like big screen with her leaks on it, I was like, well, that's just a natural response.
Yeah, I would have done that.
Like, I don't see how she was arrested for that, but not arrested for breaking a parking garage in half.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like very bold, like for like a Disney Plus show to like tackle the subject of like essentially revenge porn.
Mhm.
So I was very surprised by that. And like these things do happen to women. Like I can't speak personally, but like I feel like there is more of a spotlight and a higher standard held to women. Like, if it was like a male character that like broke that big screen, I feel like there wouldn't be as much of a response. But like,
Mhm.
women are just kind of held to like a higher standard. It's just like, oh, she's an over emotional woman. She's out of control.
Right.
It's like, yeah, like it's playing to like the whole like, oh, she's a Hulk, she's dangerous, but also like I feel like that has like a very big social commentary of how there is a higher standard for like women to like have more of a composure when faced with something kind of traumatic, and
Mhm.
especially in the public eye, and you're on the spotlight and like you have that embarrassment and shame just kind of put on you.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, I
yeah.
agree. Yeah, and switching gears here for a second too, we mentioned like, like revenge porn and stuff, how Disney Plus is going into that territory. But I think there was a remark in the show where she broke the fourth wall and was like, yeah, like we're going that route type of thing. And I was just telling Mike the other day too. Yeah, it seems like they're going because I think there are now like big parental controls going on with Disney Plus. So like kids can't watch like Deadpool unless, the parent puts in their parental control. I don't know. I don't have kids, so I don't know how that works. We got the immediate rated R thing going on. Um, but I think this show was a really good bridge connecting like the more vanilla side of the MCU to the more spicy side of the MC or like the Marvel shows on Netflix, bringing that together, showing like these can get dark, they can get gruesome, they can get sexy at times. Like, yeah.
Yeah, and I like because I think it's rated PG-14 for She-Hulk. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, and I'm glad like it doesn't really shy away. Like, yeah, Jen is a woman in her 30s, and aside
We have
from her
needs.
focusing on her career, she's focusing on her love life, and
Yep.
it doesn't really shy. She's like very like sex positive, like,
Yeah.
and I think that's like important to like show like a strong female, but also like someone who just like embraces her sexuality too. Like again, that's another thing women are shamed for, and that's like part of the finale. Like she's shamed for like embracing her sexual side,
Mm-hmm.
which is like there's nothing wrong with that. Like it was she had all very consensual moments, aside from like being recorded without her consent. So
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. No, I really enjoyed the last episode where we thought the Disney Plus screen or like the Disney Plus app broke.
Like me and Amanda both were like looking at each other like who touched the remote, and then the
Yeah.
voiceover still continued, and then she just popped out on the screen. I was like crawling all over the place. I thought that was amazing. It was like a Bugs Bunny level fourth wall break.
Yeah.
I thought that was genius. I was like howling and having a great time. Like, I love that it's just like lean into like comic book logic of like fourth wall breaking. Like, again, in the comics, she's known to do stuff like that. She's known to like break panels and rip pages like in her own comic. And like it's been done throughout other comics, like, obviously Deadpool and like even Gwenpool. Like she jumps in and out of her comic.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm glad that like we're kind of getting more like kind of silly stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I feel like it opens the possibilities for so much now for the MCU. Like
I like
we can get
how
Gwenpool.
yeah. No, I like how they psyched us out with Kevin too. Made Kevin Feige as this like robot, like story automation thing, and how she got to pick and choose how she wanted her story to end or like how the show ended.
hmm
Again, I like how she's like, oh, bring back Daredevil. A woman has needs.
I mean, I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I watch with subtitles because I just find it
Oh,
easier to
so do we.
process and like know what characters are saying with subtitles. They're great. So that whole bit with the robot was a little bit spoiled because they don't it's not just spelled like Kevin when it's like, Kevin in all capitals with
Yeah.
periods in between. And I'm just like, all right, I know where they're going with this because like they just keep talking about
Oh, right.
Kevin as Kevin and not like using pronouns or like his
Yeah.
full name or speaking casually about him. So I'm just like, all right.
All right, and let's talk about some of the cast. We have Tatiana Maslani as Jennifer Walters. I probably butchered her poor name, but I mean, I really loved her performance. Like, I had a dream she was joining us for lunch. She was so cool. One of my favorites too was Ginger Gonzaga, who played Nikki, and she was the paralegal. And then we also have Jamila Jamil as Tatiana. And I thought Tatiana was a great villain, like a great 360 of She-Hulk. Like, she was so glamorous but so evil.
hmm
And then we have Renee Elise Goldberry as Mallory Book. I actually met her. She was in Rent. She played Mimi. So I was really excited to see her in the MCU now. I was like, hey. Then we have Tim Roth as the Abomination. Really liked him. I've never seen the Hulk movie. I know, shameful. So I didn't really know who he was, but I grew to like the character.
Yeah, he's like he was transformed into like the Abomination because he was trying to replicate the super soldier serum and like the Hulk formula at the same time. And he kind of turned into the Abomination, and then the government kind of like threw him at Bruce Banner, and he kind of lost control of himself. So seeing him in this TV show and kind of just like laugh about all that was refreshing. And he got away at the end, so
Yeah.
we'll see. That implies that they want to use him again. So hopefully we'll get a Hulk versus Abomination rematch.
Mm-hmm. And then, of course, we got Benedict Wong back as Wong in his couple episodes he appeared in. And then we have Charlie Cox back as Daredevil. And then we have Mark Ruffalo back as the Man, the Hulk, Bruce Banner. So I loved when Mark would appear. I was like, Bruce, every time. Because, I don't know. I feel like, I don't know. Me personally, I feel like the Hulk, like Mark Ruffalo's character, just kind of is like in the background in a lot of movies. So it was nice to see him in like a let loose show like this. I liked the first episode with him when he was like on a retreat or whatever.
Yeah. I think the reason the Hulk is always in the background is because of the deal that Marvel has with Universal, and Universal is their Hulk movie distributor. So they can't do too much Hulk heavy things. I feel like Hulk is always everything that happens with the Hulk is always written off screen. Like his son or him becoming Smart Hulk, just everything is kind of written off screen. And hopefully we get more Hulk centric things, and hopefully he comes back in season 2 and we get to see more of that.
Yeah. I'm really glad that he was able to spend so much time with Jen in the first episode and just kind of having that contrast of like, this is how Banner operates as like the Hulk and like his journey of being a Hulk and how like it contrasts as Jennifer and just kind of like establishing right from the get-go like how Jennifer works as a Hulk. So I feel like it's really nice and just like their whole relationship, being family and
I
all that.
love
So
that.
it was really nice. Very
Yeah,
strong first episode.
he like treated her as like his little sister, and I love how he called her Fuzzball.
I'm pretty sure that was ad lib if I remember correctly.
Oh, really? I love that.
Mm-hmm.
That was one of my favorite moments.
It's great to
Yeah.
have like a male and female relationship on a TV show that's not like,
Romantic.
romantic.
Yeah.
Like I'm glad that She-Hulk was like, his cousin and not like his love interest.
Mm-hmm.
I love sibling relationships in any movie because like I have siblings and it's just so refreshing to see family love and not a lot of romantic love. Like, I mean, I love a good romance like anyone, like Loki and Sylvie. I love them, but like it's nice to just get a breath of fresh air every once in a while with just family love. So that's what I liked about this show. You got like best friends. You got like Nikki and Jennifer as BFFs. You have Jennifer and her wonky parents. And then there's cousin Bruce. So I thought that was great.
Oh my gosh, and like her family is just like relatable and like quirky, and you know, they don't always say like the right things at the right time,
Mhm.
and I just always found it fun. And I love her dad, like her dad just having like Jen's best interest and like intentions for her. So
Spraying the neighbors away and all the onlookers with the water hose. It's like, that'd be
yeah,
my dad.
breaking out the shovel after hearing she was like, jumped on the streets, and he's like, "Where are they? I brought
Yep.
the shovel."
It
Like, it was a good time. Like,
was. I'm really sad the show's over. I enjoyed my Thursday lunch breaks watching She-Hulk.
right, no more She-Hulk Thursdays. I can't believe it's like already over, but hopefully we get another season, and hopefully some like things from season 1 carry over into season 2.
They were
Very
heavily
excited.
hinting at season 2, so I'm hoping soon we hear something.
Mhm.
Tell us about your favorite little character moment.
My gosh. God, there's so many. I did really like the Megan Thee Stallion episode. I thought it was so fun, and you could just tell that the cast is like having a great time with Megan. So I thought that was really great.
Did you have a favorite nod to the comics or to the bigger Marvel universe as a whole?
Yeah, there were some nods. Like, I feel like it was like the second or third episode where she was handling the Emil Blonsky case, and she's coming out of the prison, and she's getting bombarded with reporters, and they're asking her about like, She-Hulk and all this. Like, I heard you were rejected by the Avengers, and is it true you were hit? Like, yeah, mob boss attack hit on you. And that is like kind of a reference to like her origin story in the comics, where there was a hit put on Bruce, but then it got Jennifer, and then they did the blood transfusion, and that's how we got She-Hulk. So I thought that was like a nice like little Easter egg put in there. And I really like how they went about like redoing her origin, because I feel like Bruce knows better than to give someone his blood. Like he knows like it has gamma radiation, all that stuff. So I like how it was just kind of like a freak accident that gave Jen like, her powers, versus like a conscious decision of doing a blood transfusion.
Right.
Hmm.
My favorite callback would definitely be the finale recap part, because it was filmed in like a 70s like Incredible Hulk TV show style.
Oh, that was cool.
Yes. Oh, that was beautiful. It was chef's kiss.
I don't remember a lot of that TV show, but it was on when I was younger, and occasionally my dad would pop it on, and I would watch it. And it was cool because they had two people play Bruce Banner and Hulk. They had Bill Bixby play David Banner, and they had Lou Ferrigno play the Hulk, and he would just be painted green and go around and smash things.
Hmm.
So I guess I would say the weakest part of She-Hulk just in general for me was just the visual effect of She-Hulk. Like,
Yeah.
I don't think it worked for me, and I can understand why though, is because like it looked like Bruce had come right out of like a movie, and they had just used like that same model information and lighting and texturing. But then they probably had to do She-Hulk on like a TV show budget,
Mhm.
and they probably didn't get that time that they wanted to with her. So I could
thought
forgive
her
it.
I thought her mouth movements were like off. That was the only distraction though for me.
Yeah, some of the CG wasn't quite what we're used to. I would say like up to like, MCU standards that we're used to with like a movie budget. But I don't know, I just had such a fun time with like the characters and the writing of the show that like I would get distracted enough with that I wouldn't always like pick up on the bad CG. So
Yeah.
Yeah, I
I
mean, once
understand people having issues with the CG. So hopefully season 2 they bump up the budget.
I mean, all those writers left and they started working on other projects. So, I mean, that's that's what the She-Hulk writers told us inside the show. So very clever.
Oh, I just liked at the finale, it's just like, can you transform off screen? Our visual effects crew is, are getting very tired and running out of budget. That was a-
Exactly. Well, thank you, ladies and gentlemen of the jury. That concludes our closing argument. Thanks again to our witness, Ashley, for coming on board and testifying in favor of She-Hulk. We'll just talk to you next time.